Identity verified. You have entered Syb3r S0ry. Welcome back. I am JAX. This is Syb3r S0ry. A call comes in. The caller says they are IT support. The voice is calm, professional, routine. An employee at a third-party vendor answers. The caller asks for login credentials. The employee provides them. Then the caller asks for the one-time multi-factor authentication code. The employee reads it off. Both pieces of access surrendered willingly in real time to a stranger on a phone line. That stranger is not IT support. One security control stands between that phone call and a compromised customer account. The control that held was segmentation. Betterment's core technical infrastructure, customer investment accounts, customer passwords, and authentication tokens were never reached. The attacker was contained inside a third-party marketing and customer relationship management system. One boundary, one wall it held. But what came through that wall reached 1.4 million people. On January 9, 2026, an unidentified threat actor placed a voice phishing call to an employee at a third-party vendor, believed to be Salesforce. The caller impersonated IT support. The technique is Vishing, voice-based social engineering, and it bypasses every firewall, every email filter, every endpoint detection tool because the attack surface is not a machine. The attack surface is a person sitting at a desk holding a phone, wanting to be helpful. The target was not Betterment directly. The target was a vendor employee whose access connected to Betterment's marketing and operations platform. This is the architecture of modern third-party risk. The employee who answered that phone held keys to a system that touched Betterment's customer communications infrastructure. The documented vector is a Vishing call to that vendor employee, extracting credentials and a one-time code, granting authenticated access to a connected marketing and customer relationship management system. No exploit kit, no zero-day, no malware, a phone call, and a human who complied. The social engineering playbook was straightforward. Impersonate IT support, establish authority, request credentials, then request the multi-factor authentication code that protects those credentials. The employee complied with each step in sequence on the same call. The attacker did not steal credentials from a database. The attacker did not phish them through a fake login page. The attacker asked and a human being answered. The threat actor obtained login credentials for systems connected to Betterment's marketing and operations platform, plus a live one-time MFA code. The vendor is believed to be Salesforce, though this has not been definitively confirmed in the public record. What is confirmed is the vector. A Vishing call, a vendor employee, credentials, and a one-time code surrendered by voice. The attacker walked through the vendor's front door, using credentials handed over during a conversation, not stolen from a server, not cracked from a hash, not intercepted on a wire. The one-time MFA code is the detail that matters most. Multi-factor authentication exists to stop exactly this scenario. An attacker holding stolen credentials but lacking the second factor. In this case, the attacker obtained both factors during the same phone call. The password was the first factor. The one-time code was the second. The employee surrendered both sequentially to the same voice on the same call. MFA was not bypassed through technical exploitation. MFA was defeated socially by a human handing the second factor to the attacker directly. A defender reviewing this access would see an authenticated login session using credentials belonging to a real vendor employee. The session would appear legitimate because it used real credentials and a real MFA code. No failed login attempts would precede it. No authentication anomaly would flag it. The access would look like a vendor employee performing routine work. That is what makes Vishing-driven social engineering effective. The attacker does not break the system. The attacker uses the system exactly as designed, with credentials obtained through manipulation rather than code. Here is where the single security control held. Betterment confirmed that its core technical infrastructure was not breached. The attacker did not gain access to customer investment accounts. The attacker did not obtain customer passwords. The attacker did not obtain authentication tokens. The compromise was contained to Betterment's third-party marketing and customer relationship management system. Segmentation between that system and Betterment's core infrastructure is the one control that prevented this incident from becoming a full-scale customer account compromise. The containment boundary defines this entire case. A threat actor held authenticated access to a marketing platform connected to Betterment's operations. From that position, the attacker could send customer communications and access customer contact data stored in that system. But the attacker could not move laterally into investment account management, fund transfers, or core authentication systems. The wall held. What came through that wall, however, reached 1.4 million people, and it arrived in their inboxes looking exactly like Betterment. Using the authenticated marketing system access, the attacker sent a fraudulent email through Betterment's real marketing platform to Betterment customers. This was not a spoofed domain. This was not a lookalike sender address. This was not a third-party relay mimicking Betterment's branding. The email went through Betterment's actual authenticated sending infrastructure, the same system Betterment uses for legitimate customer communications. The attacker used the marketing platform the way Betterment's own marketing team would use it. The email passed every authentication check because it was sent from the real system with real credentials. Domain keys identified mail, sender policy framework, domain-based message authentication, reporting, and conformance all passed because the email was genuine in the only way email authentication can measure genuineness. It came from the real platform with real access. The content inside was fraudulent. The pipe carrying it was not. The fraudulent email promised to triple cryptocurrency sent to specific Bitcoin and Ethereum wallets. A customer reading this message would see a communication from Betterment's verified sending infrastructure offering a crypto multiplication scheme. The promise was to triple any digital currency sent to the listed wallet addresses. The mechanism is a standard crypto flip scam structure. Send funds, receive triple in return, except no return ever comes. The Bitcoin and Ethereum wallet addresses were specified in the email body. A customer who sent cryptocurrency to those addresses would be sending funds directly to attacker-controlled wallets with no intermediary, no escrow, no recovery path. The scam was effective because it arrived through a channel that had never been used for fraud before. Betterment's marketing system had only ever sent legitimate communications. The first fraudulent message through that system carried the full weight of every legitimate message that preceded it. The authenticity problem is the core of this incident's impact. Betterment's customers have been trained to verify sender domains, check email headers, look for authentication indicators. Every one of those checks would have passed for this fraudulent email because the email was sent through Betterment's real authenticated sending infrastructure. The customer did everything right. The email was still a scam. Betterment confirmed the breach and warned customers about the crypto scam messages. The warning was necessary because the fraudulent email was indistinguishable from legitimate Betterment communication using standard email verification methods. This is the limitation of email authentication as a trust mechanism. Authentication verifies the sender. Authentication does not verify the content. When the sender is compromised, authentication becomes a weapon, lending the full credibility of a trusted brand to a message the brand never authorized. Through the same marketing system access, the attacker exposed personal information for approximately 1.4 million Betterment customers. The exposed data fields were names, email addresses, physical addresses, phone numbers, and birth dates. This is customer contact data stored in the marketing and customer relationship management platform, the system the attacker reached through the vendor compromise. Approximately 1.4 million customers had their personal information exposed. This is the documented figure from Betterment's confirmation. The data types, names, emails, physical addresses, phone numbers, birth dates represent the standard customer profile stored in a marketing CRM connected to Betterment's operations platform. No investment account data, no passwords, and no authentication tokens were included in the exposure. The segmentation that protected core infrastructure also limited the data scope. But 1.4 million contact records is enough for targeted phishing, identity fraud, and social engineering at scale. 2 weeks after the fraudulent email went out, the threat group Shiny Hunters claimed responsibility for the breach. Shiny Hunters listed a database containing over 2 million records. The gap between the fraudulent email campaign and the public claim is 14 days. During those 14 days, customers received a scam email from a trusted sender and had no public confirmation that a breach had occurred. Shiny Hunters is a documented threat group with a history of claiming responsibility for data breaches and listing stolen databases publicly. In this case, the group listed a database of over 2 million records connected to the Betterment compromise. The figure of 2 million records exceeds the approximately 1.4 million customer exposure confirmed by Betterment, which may indicate the database included records beyond the customer contact data or records from additional connected systems, though this discrepancy is not resolved in the public record. Betterment confirmed the breach and issued warnings to customers about the cryptocurrency scam messages. The confirmation came after the Shiny Hunters claim. The sequence is a Vishing call on January 9th. Authenticated access to the marketing system. A fraudulent email sent through Betterment's real infrastructure, promising tripled cryptocurrency. 2 weeks of silence, then a threat group claiming over 2 million records, then Betterment's public confirmation. Betterment's warning to customers specifically addressed the crypto scam email, advising them not to send cryptocurrency to the listed Bitcoin and Ethereum wallet addresses. The confirmation stated that core infrastructure was not breached, that customer investment accounts, passwords, and authentication tokens were not accessed, and that the compromise was contained to the third-party marketing and customer relationship management system. The containment held, the communication channel did not. This incident is part of a broader 2026 Shiny Hunters campaign, targeting Salesforce-connected third-party systems using the same Vishing-driven social engineering technique. The campaign hit multiple companies through the same vector, a voice phishing call impersonating IT support, directed at a vendor employee, extracting credentials and a one-time MFA code, gaining access to connected marketing or CRM platforms. Aura and Carnival are among the other confirmed targets. Others are documented, but less publicized. The pattern is identical across victims. Vishing call to a vendor employee with access to a Salesforce-connected system. Credentials and MFA code, extracted in a single call. Authenticated access to a marketing or CRM platform. Data exfiltration and fraudulent communications sent through the victim's real infrastructure. Shiny Hunters claims responsibility and lists a database. The technique is repeatable because the architecture is repeatable. Every company that connects a third-party marketing system to its operations creates the same access path. The attacker does not need a new exploit for each target. The attacker needs the same phone call, aimed at a different employee, at a different vendor, connected to a different company through the same integration. Question 1. The attacker held authenticated access to Betterment's third-party marketing system, but never reached core infrastructure. Which security control contained the compromise? Option A. Multi-factor authentication replay protection on the marketing platform blocked the attacker's session. Option B. Network segmentation between the third-party marketing system and Betterment's core technical infrastructure. Option C. The vendor's endpoint detection and response tools flagged and terminated the anomalous login. The answer is B. Question 2. The fraudulent email sent to Betterment customers was indistinguishable from legitimate communications using standard verification. What specific factor made the scam convincing enough to bypass customer suspicion? Option A. The email used a lookalike domain that visually matched Betterment's sender address. Option B. The email was distributed through a third-party marketing relay with Betterment's logo and branding applied. Option C. The email was sent through Betterment's actual authenticated sending infrastructure, passing all email authentication checks. The answer is C. A phone call, a credential, a one-time code, a marketing system, 1.4 million customer records. A fraudulent email sent through authenticated infrastructure promising to triple cryptocurrency. A threat group claiming 2 million records, one wall that held and everything that came through the wall anyway. This is the Betterment breach. January 9th, 2026. Documented, confirmed, contained, but not before the damage was done. For full attack kill chain breakdowns of real breaches like this one, watch our sister channel, What the Kill Chain, where every step from initial access to exfiltration is mapped in technical detail. Subscribe to Syb3r S0ry for the next case file. Stay dark, stay vigilant. The Shiny Hunters campaign that hit Betterment was one vendor breach among hundreds, run off a single weaponized Salesforce integration. The same technique that hit Aura, the same technique that hit Carnival, the same technique that hit companies most people have never heard were connected at all. Next time, we trace the integration itself, the single point of failure that turned one phone call into a multi-company breach pipeline. The vendor was not the weakness, the connection was. Transmission complete. Subscribe to maintain access. Stay dark, stay vigilant.